Everyone, thank you for being with us today. We're going to release information to you about a deputy involved shooting that occurred just a matter of 2 or 3 hours ago. So obviously, and I underscore, the information we release to you today is the best information we understand at this very early stage of the investigation. Part or all of this is subject to change as we get further details, but our policy is that we're transparent, and we're not only transparent, but we're transparent early. The community has a right to know. Let me introduce you to this guy, Matthew Correra. He's a white male, 27 years old. Matthew is a bad guy, a real bad guy. He's got a criminal history. He's got 3 previous felonies. One of them a home invasion burglary. He's been to state prison 1 time for 5 years. And this morning he's with an unknown white female. This unknown white female and he are in this white older model Tahoe here. They go right down the road to Thornhill, where they arrive at the Sunrise Supermarket. And they steal that red Toyota pickup truck, and they leave. At about 8:44 this morning, just down on Spirit Lake Road, which is just as the crow flies, about maybe a mile away, right around the corner really, they robbed the Ramirez tire shop with a firearm. And here's what occurred. Correra and the white female go into the tire shop. They ask for money. He says, "I don't have any money." They ask him a couple more times for money. He says, "I don't have any money." Now they're in the office. He pulls out of a duffel bag that he's carried into the store a rifle, points it at our victim, walks over and slides shut the door. This looks pretty ominous for a minute. And he continues to point it and ask for money, and you can see him rummaging around in the office. We're going to release a piece of that video clip to you today so you can see the robbery. Well, apparently another customer arrives, and upon arrival of the customer, they flee, they being the suspects, Ramirez or Correa and the girlfriend or female or whoever she is. We're also going to release that video footage so that someone can identify her for us and we can have her arrested sooner rather than later. They leave there. I've told you often that our deputies are simply the best in the business, and it wasn't but 2 hours later that we found the stolen vehicle. That's right. The stolen vehicle was at Cypress Gardens Boulevard and Highway 17, just a little way from where all of this ugliness started. The suspect was southbound on Highway 17 in the red truck. He comes down to 540 and turns, and he's coming westbound. This is 540 now. We are behind him. We've called for air support and canine. We've not initiated a pursuit in the beginning because we wait for our resources to get in place. However, he forced a pursuit. On 2 separate occasions, we tried to stop stick the vehicle. He drove around the stop sticks. On one occasion, he drove directly at one of our deputies in an attempt to run over him, to hit him, to kill him. And then he ends up, as you see over my shoulder here, in the eastbound lane where deputies surround the vehicle. And when the deputies surround the vehicle, understanding now he's by himself. We don't know where the female's gone to because it's been about 2 hours. He points a rifle underneath his chin, and he's screaming at the deputies to kill him, just to kill him. Our deputies try to de-escalate the event. He stands up through the sunroof, and he's still screaming at the deputies. We're trying to de-escalate the event. He's got this rifle that he used in the robbery of Ramirez Tire Store pointed under his chin. Our sergeant and one canine is now directly behind him. He drops back down into the truck, and he pops back up with a firearm, and he's got a beer bottle that he smashes into his forehead. The sergeant can't see this, but he hears the pop, thinks that the suspects shot at the deputies, and he shoots our suspect one time. The bullet strikes our suspect in the neck. He falls back down into the vehicle. The firearm drops outside of the vehicle. We then charge the vehicle, take the suspect out, and attempt life-saving measures until EMS can arrive. Our suspect, Correa, is being treated at Lakeland Regional. We anticipate that he'll be released from the hospital either tonight or tomorrow. He does not have fatal wounds. He's got a wound through his neck that did not go into or create any paralysis as far as we know at this point in the investigation. So we anticipate that he'll be booked in the county jail maybe later tonight or tomorrow. None of our deputies were injured, and that's a good thing. It's important to point out, Correa started his rampage early this morning, where he stole a vehicle, where he pointed a firearm at a man while he was trying to rob him of money. He's got a criminal history and has already been to prison for armed or burglary of an occupied dwelling. He doesn't care about people. He doesn't care whether or not he threatens them. At the end of the day, he made a choice. And when he made another bad choice, we made a choice to protect ourselves. Our sergeant did exactly what he should have under those circumstances. You show up, you're flashing a rifle around. Our deputies take an initial risk. They were justified when he pops up with a rifle in the first place to shoot him, but they didn't. They tried to de-escalate the situation and calm it. And then he pops back up the second time with a rifle and a beer bottle. He's already screaming, "Kill me, kill me, kill me." When the sergeant, who can't see what's happening from behind, hears the pop, he believes our suspect shot at our deputies. That's when our sergeant, with his handgun, shoots the suspect one time. He's in custody. And we're sending him to the county jail as soon as he gets out of the hospital. And then we hope that we send him to prison for a very long time, because if he's running the streets, he's a menace. He's dangerous. And somebody will be hurt as long as he's at large. But today everyone's safe. No one was injured despite his reckless rampage. But we do want to find the blonde-headed woman that was with him. You'll see the video. We need your help. Any questions?
Sheriff, can you confirm or clarify how the white vehicle got here? Was she following him and then ditched it? Or?
Thank you very much. After they stole the red vehicle, apparently they broke down, leaving the scene. And that's when she got in the red truck, the stolen vehicle. From there, just a short time later, they rounded the curve, went down on Spirit Lake Road, where they committed the robbery of the tire shop. And then it was about 2 hours before we saw the red truck, and she was not in it at that time. So we need to find her sooner rather than later.
And just, again, clarification, you mentioned rifle and firearm. Did he have multiple weapons, or was it just a single?
I use both terms, but the firearm he had was the rifle. And we'll get you a picture of the rifle too. It's on the ground. Our crime scene's working the crime scene here. 540, as you know, is disruptive. We've just now been able to open one lane. That's how quickly we called you out here, so we can have some traffic passage. As soon as we complete our crime scene work, certainly we will open the roads up, but it would be appropriate to avoid 540 if you don't want to be caught in traffic.
Is he from here?
He's from the Winter Haven area. Our deputies knew him whenever the event was over with. He has been a problem for us because he's violent and he's dangerous. He's had 8 previous criminal charges. He's just out of control. Just another example of out of control. Do I suspect that he was seeking money for meth, for drugs? That's what I suspect. It's still too early for me to draw an accurate conclusion. But you can believe one thing. This country seems to be ignoring the fact that we have a drug crisis. But we have a drug crisis. We're seeing overdose every day that are killing people, from teenagers all the way to people in their 40s and 50s. We see violence because of drugs and predominantly meth. And yet, the country's ignoring all of that. It's a real problem. It's a real crisis. And today, I highly suspect he was seeking money so he could buy drugs. Maybe the investigation will tell us that information sooner or later, or maybe it'll confirm that that's not accurate information, but it certainly follows the pattern of activity. Okay?
Were there any drugs found on him or in the vehicle?
Well, we haven't finished our investigation. But he's after money, so I suspect there's no drugs at this moment because I think he was trying to get money to buy drugs. We'll find out as the investigation unfolds. But keep in mind, the shooting happened about 11 o'clock, and here we are, 2.5 hours later, less than 3 hours, giving you the first initial briefing. So information subject to change as we get the details. We're still at the 30,000-foot look at this investigation right now. Have a great weekend. Take care.